So we are still in the first week of the year of 2019. It is January 6th today, the day that I'm recording this video. And being in the first week of the year gets us excited for everything coming up soon. And I made a video a couple days ago about the 10 games that I am personally the most excited for the year in 2019, just based off of the stuff that we have confirmed. Not to mention the whole slew of games that seem fantastic and amazing that could be 2019 or also could end up being 2020 or later. But that being said, I did want to take in today's video a more focused look at the first quarter of the year, because, I mean, when we start to look ahead at 2019, and I mentioned it in my top 10 video a few days ago, and I've been thinking about it since, really, this year is stacked. 2019 is going to be so strong for gaming, and that's across the entire industry. That's all three consoles in the PC market: Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo. Everyone seems like they're going to be firing almost on all cylinders. At least the industry itself is going to be firing on all cylinders. And of course, there's also so many other things we might be able to expect, like, are we going to see new hardware reveals this year? Is the PS5 going to be shown to us or confirmed? Are we going to see or hear about the Xbox Scarlet? Is there any truth to this Nintendo Switch Pro or Nintendo Switch upgraded console that we might see happen this year as well? I mean, across the board, there could be so many great things happening, and there are so many kick-ass games coming. And so, like I said, since I already detailed the 10 games across the whole year that I'm the most excited for, I wanted to then refocus in just quarter one of the year, which is January, February, and March, the first 3 months of the year, just to showcase how incredible the whole year looks. If we look at even just this first quarter and see how many great games are coming in just the first 3 months, I just think it helps put in perspective how amazing 2019 is truly going to end up being. And, you know, as a multi-console and now a nice PC owner as well, it just gets me that much more excited, because there's nothing that I am going to be forced to say no to, because I happily welcome all the Nintendo, Sony, and Microsofts, and now a gaming laptop into my life. I can do and play anything, and I've lived that way for so long, and I think that it's the best. If you can afford it, of course, I think it's best to keep yourself open to all available options. So with that being said, let's go ahead and look at January and talk about some of the games that I think are really exciting just in January. And keep in mind, as I go through this list of games, these are just some of the main bullet point games that I'm highlighting. There are tons of games that are coming out in January, February, and March that I won't be bringing up and mentioning. So if you're looking for XYZ specific game to be touched on and maybe I didn't bring it up, it's because it's probably, maybe it's just not that interesting to me, or maybe it's not a super high profile game, something a little bit smaller or even mid-tier that has a more niche audience and that I didn't feel like, I don't know, maybe it was necessary to bring up. So people get so defensive about these things, and so I wanted to put that little kind of disclaimer out there. I'm really just highlighting a couple of key games, not the entire lineup of all 3 months. And so in January, first up, if we come to January 11th, we see two pretty big deal games. We see Tales of Vesperia, the Definitive Edition, and then New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe for the Nintendo Switch. Now, Tales of Vesperia, of course, is coming out for all consoles and maybe PC, I'm not 100% sure, but it is for sure for the Switch, Xbox One, and PS4. And I'm not a huge JRPG guy, you guys know. I do like a few, but really it's not my genre. And while I loved Tales of Symphonia on the GameCube, I've tried a couple of other Tales games and games like it over the years, and most of them just haven't appealed to me. So this game isn't for me, but I do think it's cool that it's coming, because the Tales games are great games. They have a very wide audience, and I know a lot of people who do like RPGs and JRPGs find them to be some of the best, and the fact that this is getting a Definitive Edition remaster on all consoles, including the Switch, is very exciting. Now, New Super Mario Bros. U is a different story. Basically, this is just the next in a long line of Wii U games getting ported over to the Switch. And this one's kind of ironically funny because it's even called New Super Mario Bros. U. I just think it's a little bit silly and hilarious that the U is actually part of the title of this game. And it's not on a U console, it's on a Switch console. And so that doesn't really matter. I mean, they had to call it that. They had to call it this because this is the title of the game. But I do just, like I said, I find it funny. But either way, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of the New Super Mario Bros. Stuff. I've mentioned that before. I love Mario, and these games, the New Super Mario Bros. Games, they're not even bad. Like, I don't think that they're bad games. They just don't appeal to me. And there are a couple of Wii U games I would still like to come over to the Switch, like Xenoblade Chronicles X and Wonderful 101, stuff like that. But for the most part, I don't really need a whole lot more of these, and I'm more interested in new games. For a long time, I was predicting a new Super Mario Brothers game coming to the Switch, and I always thought a remaster was possible, but more than that, my money was always on a new game, and so I'm really disappointed to see that this game isn't a new Super Mario Brothers game. It's support of a game that already existed. I mean, they probably could have cranked a brand new game out and made it that much more exciting, but either way, it is still going to be the first major Switch release for the year, and so I thought it was worth mentioning. Now, a couple of days later, on January 18th, is a game that you guys know I'm excited for, which is finally we will have Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes. And, you know, I've talked about this game so much and featured it on lists and even made a couple of videos just about this game. Most of you guys know my approach here. I love No More Heroes. The first two games are two of my favorite games of the last 10-15 years. And I really want No More Heroes 3, and so it's disappointing this game isn't No More Heroes 3, but I do appreciate that it is a No More Heroes spin-off, and it features Travis Touchdown, and it's going to be some kind of weird action beam katana game that's going to also have that classic Suda51 No More Heroes humor in it, and I just honestly, I can eat up any game that has Travis Touchdown in it. I just love him that much. So, you know, this game is going to be really unique to see play out. How will it be received by the audience, by the gamers, by the fans of the franchise? How is it going to review? And then, of course, how will it sell? Suda51 has said if the game sells well, then a No More Heroes 3 is that much more likely. So, I don't know. I'm excited. I think it could be cool, so that's another big game coming out on the 18th. Now, the last two big games of the month in the last week are Kingdom Hearts 3 on January 29th. Holy crap, that game is coming. And then, of course, the Resident Evil 2 remake. And, you know, Kingdom Hearts, I'm not a Kingdom Hearts guy. I think the trailers are weird. Can we talk for a second about the Kingdom Hearts trailers and why they feature no sound effects, just this weird, sad, like, singing sort of sad music in the background with like some lady just singing, and then it's just got all the voice acting but with no other context of the game. It is so jarring and uncomfortable and awkward. I don't like them. So no offense if you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, I'm not trying to slam the quality of the games. I'm just saying those trailers are whack and I don't know what they're thinking. So I'm not into Kingdom Hearts 3, but oh my goodness, after what feels like an eternity, this game is finally going to release in just a couple of weeks, you guys, this month. It's a monumental deal. Finally, this game will be out, and all the fans who've been clamoring for this game for a decade will get to play it. And so, for fans of Kingdom Hearts, I am super thrilled for you. I hope that it delivers, and honestly, I'm sure it will. I know a good game when I see it, even if I don't enjoy it. So I know that this will be a good game, and I'm sure people are going to love it. And then the Resident Evil 2 remake. I mean, just like Travis Strikes Again, how much more do I need to say about this? It's my most anticipated confirmed game for the year. It's 3 weeks away. I love Resident Evil. The original release of Resident Evil 2 is probably one of the top 3 Resident Evil games I've ever played. I cannot wait to see what it feels like to play this game remade in the Resident Evil 4 engine and style. I just think it's going to be an absolute knockout. I can't wait, and it'll be one of the hugest releases of the month. I mean, even of the year. I mean, Kingdom Hearts 3 and Resident Evil 2 at the end of the month, that is a 1-2 punch like no one's ever heard, so that is going to be amazing. Now, if we move into February, we come to one of the biggest single days of the first quarter of the year, assuming that all of these dates are still accurate and none of them have changed. Or are going to change, but based on what I found with dates right now, February 15th has a lot of games coming, and it's pretty cool. Dead or Alive 6 and Jump Force are 2 fighting games releasing on that day, which is very, very exciting. Definitely picking up Jump Force, and I'd like to pick up Dead or Alive at some point. I definitely won't be getting that day one, but I do think it's cool that that game is going to be releasing soon. And I mean, Jump Force is going to be amazing. Any game that lets me play as Goku, I'm in, man. That's all I need. Crackdown 3 is finally going to release, and then, of course, Metro Exodus. Now, of these 4 games, Metro Exodus is the one I'm most excited about because it's just a beautiful-looking first-person post-apocalyptic shooter, and I just love that setting. I played a little bit of, I think, Metro Last Light. Didn't get to play too much of it. I liked what I tried, though, and I'm very excited to see what Exodus is going to do. Crackdown 3 has just been that elusive game that Microsoft has struggled for 2 years in a row to release, and apparently it's finally coming in the middle of February, just, you know, a month and a half into the year, you guys. So, barring a crazy catastrophe that prevents this from actually releasing, Crackdown 3 is going to release into the wild. Is it going to live up to all of the hype? Probably not, but it's going to be cool to see the game come out. On top of those 4 games is the last big game for February, which is EA's Anthem. And this game has had definitely a lot of conversation circling around it, a little bit of controversy as well. A lot of people very excited for it, a lot of people completely skeptical and have just no faith in it whatsoever. I am definitely excited for it because I love the setting, the gameplay, the promise of it, and I think it looks beautiful and it looks like a lot of fun. But I'm also skeptical because it's just another persistent online world games as a service kind of game, and EA has shown that they are really bad with those concepts in recent years. And while there are some games like this I like, such as Destiny, I'm a huge Destiny fan, and I love that this looks like an evolution of the Destiny formula, I am still wary of how it's all going to come together in terms of the games as a service thing. So, you know, I mean, the jury's out on that, but I'm definitely somebody who's willing to give it a shot. I want to give this game a chance because I love the aesthetic and the promise of the game, like I said. And I've got buddies in real life, in-person friends, not just folks that I know online or through YouTube, that I play games like this with. Some of my best buddies, and one of them's even my bandmate. And so we're all going to get this game and have a reason to play as friends, as good bros in real life, and experience it that way, and that can really help with a game like this. People who don't have that, maybe they don't get the same enjoyment, but I am somebody who does, so I can't wait for it. And honestly, it's going to be a huge release. EA is going to push this hard, so Anthem's coming on February 22nd. Now, when we come to March, we have another lineup of a couple of really kick-ass games. One of them is one of my most anticipated for the year. But starting on March 1st, we actually get Jam and Earl back in the groove, which is so exciting. And now here's the thing, guys. This is one that is one of those smaller, more niche indie releases, but I'm talking about this because, honestly, it's a personal favorite of mine. So it's my list on my channel, so I can choose the one indie niche game that I want to talk about because that's what I get to do. And I go back to the original release on the Sega Genesis, man, one of my favorite games ever since I was gaming and like when I was a kid. And the Jam and Earl 2 Panic on Funkatron I didn't really like as much, at least my memory wasn't very good of it. But that being said, the fact that in this current age where retro remakes are all the rage, I love seeing a franchise like this getting brought back. I'm actually waiting for a freaking Earthworm Jim, man. I want a new Earthworm Jim done the same way. But either way, I don't want to be picky here. Jam and Earl is going to be great. They also have a really funny and really interactive Twitter, so I highly recommend you go and follow the official Jam and Earl Twitter because those guys are really great. They're doing a lot of work. This game is coming out soon, and I can't wait for March 1st. On March 8th is the next huge game I can't wait for, which is Devil May Cry 5. And this game speaks to me in so many ways. Honestly, I kind of sort of regret not putting it on my top 10 most anticipated games of the year because when I go back and look at what this game is showing us, holy crap, it's going to be amazing. It's from the same sort of ilk that Bayonetta was born out of. And Bayonetta is one of my favorite franchises. Love the character, love the gameplay, love the worlds. And Devil May Cry has been the same thing. And I messed a little bit with Devil May Cry's 1, 2, and 3. Really liked those games, but I never fell in love. I never played 4. The DMC remake I did play, and I completed that game, and I really enjoyed it for a 7th gen action game. But DMC 5, what they're doing, kind of poking fun at that remake game and bringing back the old Dante and just, oh my god, the visuals, the action, the combat, the gameplay. This game, the scale of the fights, it's going to be absolutely out of this world, you guys. I can't wait for this. So that comes also really soon, you guys. Q1, that's releasing on March 8th. If we move to March 15th is The Division 2, which is a game I'm not really into or excited about at all. Didn't really care for The Division 1. Don't think Division 2 looks any better or any different. But it's another game that I know has a huge fan base and a huge market. So, and for people who like them, the game I know is going to be really good. Like, again, I can acknowledge a good game even if it's not a game that speaks to me. So I know a lot of people are really going to enjoy The Division 2 on March 15th. And then, of course, for the final big game of the first quarter, on March 22nd is my one and only baby, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Another game I've talked about several times over the past 2 months. So I don't want to drone on too much more about this one, other than everything you guys know. I love Dark Souls and Bloodborne. It's from Software, the team responsible for those games and their gameplay. You can see the blueprint and foundation and the DNA of the Dark Souls formula in Sekiro, but you can also see it evolved and taken to the next level with a lot more nimbleness and acrobatics and verticality. And again, the setting, it's brighter, it's more colorful, it's using a demon samurai sort of story. It's just everything I want out of a game. It made my #2 game of the year, but right behind Resident Evil 2. And so that closes out the first quarter in terms of big, huge, notable, high-profile games that we can expect in Q1 of 2019. And again, that's just the first 3 months of the year. So man, I don't know what to say. I'm just really excited for 2019, you guys. Look at that. In 3 months, I listed like whatever 12 or 15 games. A quick recap, I'm just reading from my phone here. New Super Mario Bros. U, Tales of Vesperia, Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes, Resident Evil 2, Kingdom Hearts 3, Crackdown 3, Dead or Alive 6, Jump Force, Metro Exodus, Anthem, Jam and Earl, Devil May Cry 5, Tom Clancy's The Division 2, and Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Whew! That is insane, you guys. And then the year is probably only going to get better after that. So like I said, reminder, many games I didn't bring up. There's a lot of smaller games. I mean, Ace Combat 7 is a game that keeps jumping out that I saw in that release list as well, and some really cool looking indie games and smaller releases. It's going to be great, man. January, February, and March are stacked for all consoles and PC. It's a great time to be a gamer. It's a great year to be a gamer, and hopefully you have access to multiple or all available platforms to game on, because if you do, then you will truly get the most out of this year and out of Q1 of 2019 that you possibly can. So that's what's going on. That's my kind of rundown and review of the lineup for 2019 Q1, January through March. It's going to be great. Tell me what you guys think. Are you excited for Q1? Are you excited for 2019? What do you think about a lot of the games that I listed? If there's a game I neglected to bring up, then you should bring up a game that maybe didn't come up on this list that you're also excited for in Q1. I mean, there's plenty to pick from for all kinds of gamers. So whatever you think, please talk about it. Thanks, of course, as always, for tuning in, guys. This is Rob with Ro2R Review, and I'll catch you next time on another video.